There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Yeah, yeah. Welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
And we are back. We are here. Thank you for being here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through and growing through, we affirm you, we acknowledge you, and knowing that even in the midst of it all is well. If you're having a time of your life, milk that sucker. Milk that. If I can talk, it would help, right? Milk that sucker. If you're having a hard time, just hold on a while. Just hold on for a little while longer. Or just keep listening. Because by the time you finish listening to this show, you might just find yourself laughing like, what was I tripping about? I knew I got this. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. And thank you for tuning in to yourself first, because that's important. I can't speak today. That's important. You tune into yourself first, and then you tune into being you. Because once you tune into yourself, you can't help but be you. But if you're out of tune, out of whack, you don't know who you is. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but I think I've been hijacked. And as you tune in, you get to listen. You get to hear the guidance, divine guidance. You get to hear your ancestors. You get I can't talk today. I don't know what is going on. Can y'all leave me alone? No, actually, I'm calling you back. I'll just adjust my energy to meet your vibration. Anyway, when you tune in, you listen. When you listen, you can experience the transformation that you desire. I am Ade, your transformation agent, your transformation beingness agent, artist, even. Oh, yeah, it's going to be one of those shows today. Welcome to another episode of Ade Presents, Being You, the journey back to yourself. This is season 3, episode 11. Today's date is Tuesday, March 16th, 2020. This is where we're inviting you, reminding you to take a look at how you see yourself. I mean, really, not just think about what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's a good thought. Ooh, that's deep. No. Really go from the head and drop it down. How do you see yourself? And ask, how do I see myself? How do you see yourself? How do you see the world? How do you see yourself in the world? How are you showing up at work, at home, in your relationships, even in the bedroom? You know, for those of you who get your groove on every now and then, how are you showing up? Are you like, turn the light off? Don't you dare turn the light on. You know, we men don't really care about that. We're just like, you ready? Lights on, off? We don't care. We got it easy. But especially females. I used that word the other time. I almost got in trouble. Especially females who think, okay, let me stop. And, yep, I've been hijacked. So we're inviting you to see yourself, to take a look at yourself, the world, how you're showing up in the world, how you see yourself in the world, and how you see the world in you. And speaking of seeing the world in you, we're going inside of you, looking at you, particularly females. And, I was thinking in preparation for this show that I wonder what the equivalent of a womb is for men. I'm sure there's something. My guest is here. She's standing by, LaShun Teboh. We're going deep, literally and metaphorically. If you can't handle it, stick around. If you can handle it, share with some friends. Today's topic is the sacred womb, your seat of power. We invite you to join us on our main Facebook page, which is the Being You podcast page on Facebook, for a more interactive chat experience. If you're on another platform other than the one that's associated with me, we may not see your questions and comments, but if you have questions and comments, we invite you to go to facebook.com, Being You podcast. Right there, we can see your questions. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Time is doing what time does. My computer is saying, dude, I'm old, go easy on me. I got some announcements. Let's X this out, which will help me slow down, because when I'm hijacked, I know better than to keep rushing. I need to just, and I'm hijacked in a good way. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, you figure it out. But it just, Anyway, let me do my announcements. Lipsync.com. I'm going to kind of rush through this. Well, maybe I shouldn't rush through this. I just took a breath to slow down. Now I'm trying to rush through this. The ego mind always wants to be in front line. It's okay. Let me give my ego a hug. It's okay. We know you're there. It's all right. Lipsync.com. If you're looking for a podcast hosting site, maybe you want to start a podcast, you're with a podcast hosting site and you're thinking of changing, well, I'm partnering with Lipsync. That's LIBSYN.com. Check out their services. They have a lifetime storage, so you don't have to move your files after 3 months, or, they got different services as well. If you use my code, you will get some goodies. So let me tell you what you're going to get. If you sign up today is March 16th. If you sign up today, you'll have the whole of March for free. as well as the whole of April for free. If you sign up on the 2nd of April, then you have April free and May. However, if you sign up on the 1st of April of any month, actually, let's make it simple. Don't sign up on the 1st unless you have to, because if you sign up on the 1st of the month, you only get 1 month free. If you sign up, let's say you wait till April 2nd and you sign up, then you get 2 months free. That's how it works. It's really simple. Just use a promo code ADE, like they used to say on radio. Tell them Ade sent you. It's really simple. It's not complicated. Every Wednesday, join myself and Reiki Bias for soulful songs and soulful conversations. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And for the next 2 weeks, for those of us who are in the UK, it's going to be 1 a.m. It's usually 2 a.m. Like even the show, if you're in the UK listening now, I'm like, why is this time so early? Well, I got to break it to you. Most of my shows are geared towards United States. So I go with the time. The time has changed in America right now. We don't change time until the 28th of March. It's a good day to change your time. The things I do for people. And I always tell you, March is the best. It's the most important month of the year. So March 28th, oh my God, we're just going to be giving some stuff away just because I can. That's, just a special day. I didn't say more than that. But anyway, March 28th in UK, the time goes forward. So we're back to 5 hours difference. Right now it's 4. So the show with Reiki in UK time is 1 a.m. instead of 2 a.m. Check it out. You can go to Facebook. Well, actually, you can go to YouTube, youtube.com/Reiki Bias. Every Wednesday, soul fulfilling, great show, healing show, create a sacred space. I do this on Tuesday and that on Wednesday. I'm set for the whole month. Everything else is just icing on the cake. All right. Now, speaking of icing on the cake, it's a perfect time to make this announcement. So my dear friend, Kathy Stringer, she's hosting an annual retreat. This is the 2nd year. It's called A Woman's Journey of Healing and Hope. This year, of course, they're going to do it virtually. And the date is Saturday, April 17th to Sunday, April 18th, 2021, of course. It's a virtual event. Ricky's going to be one of the speakers. Jill Colucci is going to be there. Ricky's going to be there. Rashawn Renee is going to be there. There are a lot of females who are offering their space for women to come together to heal. There's so much been going on. I mean, so much has been going on for a long time, but it looks like things, well, actually it doesn't look like it. Things are intensifying. We are growing in consciousness. We're downloading more. The vibration on the planet is shifting. And sometimes we're like, oh, what is going on? So it shows up as disease and we call it a virus and we think, oh, the world is coming to an end. Well, the world as we know it is ending. And with this retreat, it's helping you find yourself, come back to yourself. So the website address is awomensjourneyretreat.com. Did I get that right? I think it is. Yes, it is. No, it's not a woman. It's womensjourneyretreat.com. journeyretreat.com. Now, if this is like, if you're feeling like, this is what I've been waiting for all my life, and you want to sign up, go there. The early bird actually ends today. However, it gets better. Whenever you sign up, I've got another code for you. I'm just a giving kind of guy. It's March. What can I say? It's the only month that's important. Every other month, irrelevant. So anyway, the code for A Woman's Journey Retreat is, this is my code, so you get a discount. I think you get another 15%, if my memory serves me right. WJ 2021 -LCA. WJ 2020 -LCA. As in Life Coach Ade. Make it easy. All right, one quick announcement. This Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, I am facilitating a gathering called Spring into Joy. You can find out more by going to this short link. Use the short link, it's easier. bit.ly/Ade Spring. The new season is coming upon us. My name, Ade Spring. bit.ly/Ade Ade Spring. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Just making some adjustments here. So check that out. You can get more information. Basically, the session is a 2-hour session of pure joy. It's using storytelling, movement, stillness, breath, and just easy focus to welcome in joy. Focusing while we're harnessing stillness, because stillness is it's not about just still and closing your eyes and meditate. You can actually be in a state of stillness while moving around, while driving, while working, while making love. You can still be in that place of stillness. So we're going to use all these tools of chanting, movement, storytelling, all of it for 2 hours. And I'm excited about this because this is some of you know that I'm part of Interplay. I've been doing this for many years now, I think 2016, maybe. And this is my certification. I was a leader. Well, I'm still a leader in training. After Saturday, I didn't tell you today, did you? Saturday, I become a certified leader. That's March 20th. 1 p.m. Eastern. So join me. It'd be good to see you there. The gift donation is whatever you got, $0 to $20 or pounds. Whatever you want to do is good. But show up. That's much more important. It's 2 hours for us as a community. I want to remind you, make sure you bring your dreams, your vision, your goals, your hopes, things that you want to, even bring your grief. If you're grieving, bring that too. And bring a candle, a glass of water, and journal, because we're going to have time to just get still and recreate your reality, because you can on a daily basis. Okay, this is probably it is the longest show with the longest announcement ever. But that's just the way it is. And we embrace it. And let me check the chat room. Chat. I feel like I'm trying to rap. I don't know what the heck is going on today. Let me check the chat room. New Jace is in the house. Nice to see you. Kwali is in the house. Silent listeners, thank you all for tuning in. Those of you on Instagram, like I said at the beginning, if you want to see the full show so you can see my guest, go to youtube.com/LC Radio. Other than that, you're just going to see me, and that's fine. You know, I got it going on. I'm pleasant to see. Okay. All right. Yes, Leslie agrees with me. That's good enough. All right, Leslie, are we ready to rock and roll? All right, let's see. I want to read my guest's bio. I'm excited about this show. I feel like I'm going to learn some things. Been doing some research, and I have been learning some things. Like, oh, I thought yoni meant, oh, of course, like a true man. Okay, don't do. Now we're not going to be judging nobody, right? We're just going to be compassionate. But it was good that I did my research and realized yoni was much more than what I thought it was. So my guest today is LaShun Teboh. She is a certified holistic health practitioner with a professional affiliation with the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. I love those. I need to find out. I've never heard of that before. As a holistic health practitioner, LaShun wears many hats. She's a yoni, steam, and womb Reiki practitioner, a certified life coach that specializes in weight management. I like that. She said weight management. You're managing it. You're not losing nothing. You lose it, then you're tempted to go find it. But if you manage it, it's a different conversation. Okay, she also has certification as a fibroid release specialist. Her long-term vision is to assist as many women as possible with the knowledge of the power they hold within their sacred womb space. She is passionate about assisting women to be the best version of themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. She's the founder of Ankh Feminine, I almost says Feminine. I don't know what happened. Feminine Wellness Spa, which is a holistic wellness spa that caters to the unique needs of women. The spa offers feminine wellness services such as yoni steam, natural fibroid care, wellness management, and so much more. This sister be bringing it. You can find her on IG, Instagram, by going to, at Ankh Feminine, ANKH Feminine. If you get trip up spelling feminine, just go to Google. Google will help you. You can also find her channel on YouTube, youtube.com/LaShun Teboh. That's LaShun Teboh. I feel like I've done the show already. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, psychics and skeptics, physical beings and non-physical beings, help me welcome my sister, myself, LaShun Teboh.
Wow.
Thank you, sister.
I'm doing good. Thank you for such a great introduction. I appreciate that. When you hear somebody else talk about you, it sounds surreal, you know. I was like, I do all of that.
I know the feeling. Like, who are they talking about?
Yeah.
It's so good to have you here. And I see all the hats you're wearing. Most people won't see it, but your third eye has to be really sharp in order to see all those hats. So I see all of them.
Yes.
But before we talk about those hats, let's talk about you, LaShun Teboh. How are you doing? How are you navigating all this going on in the world? There's so much going on. How are you dealing with it?
For me, not much has changed. And what I mean by that is I'm still operating within the spa. I never saw a lot of people in the spa at one time anyway. So now I really keep it strictly to just a couple of people at one time, even though the spa is big enough to handle maybe 10 or 15 people at one time. So I'm keeping that to a minimum. Appointments are still going on as they should. But as far as me personally, again, not much has changed. Still getting out in nature, doing my walks, exercising. Right now, we're going into the spring equinox, so it's detox time. So everything is pretty much business as usual for me.
I know that's right. Life is in session. We roll with it.
I just got to roll with it.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in the world, and I always say consciousness matters. Your mindset matters. And,
yes.
You got to tune in so we can find our own bearings, or else we get tossed all over the place. So on Being You, one of the things we do, I ask all my guests to just, it's like to be able to share a bit more about themselves. And one of the ways we do that is asking you, what's the meaning of your names? And the reason that is important is I believe that the name represents our soul signature. And somehow we sort of just align with our names. The whole thing about chicken and egg, I don't know if we give ourselves a name or the name gives us our personality, our character. There are countries in Africa where there's a ceremony when a mother is pregnant, they'll actually have a ceremony, a ritual to ask the baby, what's your name? So it's different in different parts of the world. And I feel like, names are the first when we meet. When say, hey, how are you doing, LaShun? Oh, that's a nice name. How'd you spell it? Or whatever the case may be. So what does it mean to you?
Okay, so let's talk about my first name is LaShun. So I wanted to know what does my name mean. So this was some years ago. I looked it up. LaShun, shun means to shun, to like shy away. So I was like, that's not really me. Teboh, my last name. I actually was married to a Cameroonian, so that's his last name. So I don't know the meaning of that. But not too long ago, because I am a practitioner of African spirituality, I went through a naming ceremony. And through my naming ceremony, my name is Ifa Papula, which means highway to wealth. I feel like that fits me. Yeah, okay. I feel like that. And I'm not talking about wealth in the sense of material wealth, but more in the sense of wisdom and knowledge and being able to function on a day-to-day basis with everything that I need. Everything that I need is here. And there's always an avenue for me to go to be able to make sure the material wealth is there as well. But I look at it more for the wisdom and knowledge that I receive on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, I love that. Because true wealth is within, and the more we align with the wealth that is already ours, life has no choice but to reflect that. The resources, the people, the things, whatever we need,
Everything I need shows up.
everything. And it may not show up sometimes when we think we need it. I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes, okay, God, what the hell is going on here? And then before you know it, it kind of shows up eventually. But yeah, that's really what it's about, living from the inside out. So we were talking about this. Thank you for. So LaShun, did you now make that mean something else, or are you going to be using more of your new name or your spirit name?
I don't know. I
Especially
haven't.
because you were saying the LaShun part of it is not you. Are
No,
you thinking of changing it? He said no, it isn't.
I don't know. I mean, I've had it for 48 years, so you know, it's kind of hard to, you know. Sometimes I guess sometimes a lot of my clients and people, as they get to know me, uh, they call me different things. Some people call me their doctor. And that used to bother me at one time because I always thought about it in the European terms of a doctor. Then later on, a lady explained to me, she says that, you're their doctor because you're helping them, you're assisting them in healing in some shape, way, or form. You're assisting them in that. So some people call me doctor. Some people just call me by my last name. And some people call me Sean. So I guess that goes back to wearing all the different hats
Yeah.
again. So I'm different. I'm a different person to different people, I guess.
I hear that. Yeah, this whole thing about decolonizing our minds and how, what society, because I would say everything we see in the physical world is a representation of what's in the spiritual world. We are
Yes.
every one of us is a healer.
Yes.
So we use that in different ways: a teacher, a practitioner, a healer, a doctor. But it's everybody's right where they need to be. We've been talking about this hat that you wear. Let's talk about this hats that you wear. So you do a lot, and tell us about the hat. So you're a yoni steam practitioner. You do womb Reiki, Kemet Reiki. You teach. You're a caregiver. You're a mother, a grandmother. Tell us more.
Okay. I always like to kind of start at the beginning of my journey, how I got how did I get to be here? 15 years ago, I thought I would have been sitting here talking to you about sacred womb space. Once upon a time, I didn't know anything about my womb other than that's where I carry my children to term and birth them. But about 7-8 years ago, when I kind of got on this journey, I was in business, and one of my clients came in one day and she said, hey, do you do V-steams? And I was like, what is a V-steam? And she told me what it was. She went to a spa and had it done. And then I started doing the research myself. And then I was like, oh, this is just, really with mixing different herbs together for different conditions. I took it a step further. Most places might only do 1 or 2 different blends, but I do several different blends, and I make custom blends for clients just depending on what their issue is. Then about maybe a year and a half after I started doing yoni steams in my facility, I met someone. Her name is Tracy Bryant Swint, and she is the founder of Love My Womb Academy. And I took her class. I took her class, and what I learned from her was the healing aspect of yoni steams, not just the physical, but the emotional and spiritual part that goes along with it. So tapping deeper into the womb energy and assisting women along their healing journey. Fast forward a little bit, I went through the Yoni Steam Institute. They're located like in Birmingham, Alabama, and I learned womb Reiki. That was something I was already a Reiki practitioner, but learning womb Reiki it opened my eyes to so many things, how not only do you heal yourself, but also generation upon generation of your matriarchal lineage can be healed through womb Reiki as well. I learned that there was 7 chakras within the womb itself, and the first chakra being the heavenly, the heavenly, no, it's the heavenly passageway. I guess I'm being hijacked too because I can't. But you know, such magnificent names. They're very celestial names that when it comes to those different chakras of the womb and being able to connect those wombs with your major womb, with your major chakras of your body. So taking all the information that I get in meditation, I ask for guidance on what services to provide, how to provide them, who needs what. It's never about me. One of the things that I learned, this was probably just over the last year or so, I'm just a vessel that's being used. Getting the certifications and getting the paperwork to go behind what I think is something that I naturally kind of know, if that makes any sense. But just, I guess, for people, here's the certification that I received, but being able to actually carry out the therapy, it comes from a different place. It doesn't necessarily come from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that place a little, because we're talking about the sacred room, your seat of power, and you know, you're talking about this coming from a different place that you're a part of. Was there something in you that you recognize now as a child that gave you an inclination that, yeah, this is your path? Because clearly, or did you stumble on it just by your patient asking, or was there something in your own life that made you say, you know, there's got to be a different way?
I actually stumbled upon it. You know, well, no. It's something that I'm supposed to walk in, so I'm walking in it little bit by little bit. But once upon a time, I remember when I went to the learning session with Tracy Bryant Swin of Love My Womb Academy, I heard terms that I had never heard before. Reconnect with your womb, listen to the voice of your womb. Your womb has power. And I'm, you know, and I, like most women, I assume they probably was really green to it like I was. I'm like, well, what's that supposed to mean? Well, what does the voice of your womb sound like? Well, how are you supposed to connect? You know, I had those type of questions, but I never really asked those questions. But through my own growth process of taking a little bit from here to a little bit there, I actually learned how did the voice of my womb sound like, what was happening when my womb was talking to me. So now I try to give women that same information that I learned through my own meditation and through my own journey. And it might not be what it exactly is for them, but it probably will help them along their journey to be able to listen and tap into that womb energy as well. So I take a lot of I take it seriously when when women come to me for womb services. I take it very serious.
So let's talk about listen to the voice of the womb.
Okay.
Of course, I mean, generally, whether it's the womb, whether it's the brain, whatever, and it's always, in the world we live in the Western world particularly, the power is in somebody else, a medical doctor who went to school and owes so much money that they're still trying to pay back, that can tell us about our bodies. So, but from a spiritual perspective, there is another way to be with our bodies. Okay. So when you talk about the voice, like listening, for women saying, maybe somebody who is where you are, where you were before, saying, what do you mean the voice of my womb? All I know is I gave birth during my period. I'm cramping. I don't want to hear no more voice. I just don't want the pain to stop. So what is that? What are some of the things the womb can tell a woman?
Okay. So how it started to happen for me is that I noticed around my cycle time, this is after I had went through some cleansing and some of my own healing. I noticed around my cycle time is when I started to get a lot of ideas. When my I just was I don't want to say overactive, but if I was journaling or writing, some of the things that used to come to me, and I would be like, oh, wow, where is this coming from? To me, that's the voice of my womb. So even now during my cycle time, I really sit down, take notice, go into meditation so I can see what messages there needs to be that to come forth at that time. If you're having heavy cramps, a woman that has fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, polycystic ovaries, that's your womb speaking to you. There is something that's deeper, because whenever we have something physical going on with us, it started in the spiritual. It's just that we didn't catch it there. We didn't, and it doesn't also always necessarily means it's yours. It could be from a previous generation. So it's not always yours, but that's where womb Reiki comes into play to where we
Say
can
more
heal.
about that. That it may not be yours. It could be from a previous generation. What do you mean by that?
Like women with fibroids, for instance, when they come in, usually I talk to them, they have fibroids, their mother had fibroids, their grandmother had fibroids. So I'm assuming they just had fibroids all up and down their family tree. So there is something that's unresolved in their family tree to resolve these fibroids, because why are these fibroids happening? And doctors don't even know where fibroids come from. So as a practitioner, when I work with a woman with fibroids, I try to assist her in digging deeper into her lineage to see what exactly is happening. It's just like people say that, oh, we have a family history of high blood pressure. There's a reason why there's a family history of high blood pressure. And it's not because you just eat wrong and you have high cholesterol. There is something else. I read one time that high blood pressure is a representation of unresolved anger issues. So what's going on through even your lineage, to where there is this unresolved anger, and how can it be resolved?
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to tap in.
You got to be willing to tap into shining light on that darkness.
Yes.
And sometimes we carry things forward just because we say, "Oh, this is my family."
It's in my family.
It's in your genetics. You're just the way it's going to be.
And
even
by
some of those
accepting
questions.
accepting it, you give it the power that it needs to be sitting there in your body and your lineage. So somebody has to say, stop, let's find out why.
Yes, indeed. So let me ask you this then, something that you said, the fibroid, the clients that you worked with, what are some of the things they've uncovered by working with them that then caused them to release the fibroids?
So what do I think of some of the causes of them having the fibroids?
Well, what are some of the things they've discovered? Maybe in going through the process with them, what are some of the things that they realize? Oh yeah, there's something that my mother told me. Like, just as easy, it could be them accepting it, but if there were other things that people have discovered in that process.
A lot of times when if a woman will allow me to dig deep enough with her as to what's going on with them on a level, they and I'm not saying that this is the cause of the fibroids, but these are just different things that have come up. A family history of molestation within the family, a family history of abortions, and I've seen women, because they hold on to things so much, they're emotionally unavailable. They don't speak about their emotions enough. I think that I see that more than anything with going through, and it's even hard for them to talk to me about what it is that they're experiencing. And I think by holding on to that energy, it manifests as a fibroid as a result. Is that scientific? No, but it's I've worked with a lot of women, and I've seen these things over and over and over and over again. And I've been actively working with women with fibroids for about 3 years. And I remember when I first started trying to identify women who had fibroids, I couldn't believe I probably had over 100 women that I could reach out to in reference to, hey, do you want to get some holistic fibroid therapy? That was kind of disheartening to me that so many women were in that state. So to me at that time, it just meant to me that they was holding on to something that just didn't belong to them. So that was very disheartening.
Yeah, I bet. As I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of the womb as part of the sexual organs.
It
So the
is.
idea of being sexually violated, and that sacral chakra as well, is that seat of our creativity, our power. So if there's any kind of disruptions, of course, it's going to show up in that place that represents that, the place that carries a life. And it's and as you were saying earlier, women carry a lot.
They
Have to be
do.
the caregiver, be it. I'm sure your mother. Well, actually, tell you the truth, I remember watching one of your videos, and you said, "I'm a mother," and you said the age of your daughter. You said a grandmother. That's like, what? Wait.
Yeah.
Your daughter's how old?
Yeah, I started having children when I was young. I was 17 years old. So I got to be a young grandmother. At first I didn't really like that, but now I do because I can enjoy my grandkids. I take them on vacation every summer. Uh, and it's a good thing at this point. Something that you had said earlier when you was talking about the womb space, as far as like being the seat of creation. One of the things that when women come in and they're doing just a basic yoni steam with me, I always like to help them to understand that you have the power to manifest any and everything you want. You have that energy. The womb is all about manifestation energy. It's all about creativity. It's just a matter of tapping into that. And that's kind of where I come in at with assisting women on how to actually tap into that and how to actually manifest what it is that they want in their life. But getting to the manifestation part, we have to heal first. Heal from the things that the people, places, things, ideas, the situations, the things that wasn't for our greatest and highest good. That energy that you're holding on to from previous sexual partners, all of that has to be rectified, released,
Ooh.
balanced out. And I always like to tell people or explain to women, you get spiritually transmitted diseases by sleeping with people. It's not always, you think you're going to get STD or something to that effect. It's the energy from a person that can attach itself to you and drain the life out of you. So that goes back again to different things happening within your womb as well. Like, women that come in that have reoccurring yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis, I'm always say, look at your partner. Look at your partner. Is that someone that really should be in your life? That's your womb speaking to you, telling you that person is not for you. If when a woman tries to have sex with someone and there's not the lubrication needed for him to enter, that's your womb speaking to you, saying, no, he is not for you. But if you've never been taught that, you don't know that, okay, well, let me stop and reassess this whole situation with this person, go get a lubricant and carry on. So yeah, so it's about really learning what it is, the message that your womb is trying to send you at certain times.
Well, I got to give myself a pat on the back because you said so many things that I want to jump in and ask questions like, just wait. Take a breath. So, let's back.
I opened the door. Look, I opened the door.
Yes, you did. And it's not that I've actually haven't thought about this, but not as deep. And as I'm listening to you, particularly women who are in a heterosexual relationship, so the partners that they've been with is energetically stored in their womb.
In their womb
Correct?
space, yes.
Woo! So y'all
Yes.
just be carrying folks around.
You just be carrying folks around, yes. But men do as well. You don't have a womb per se like a woman has a uterus, but within your center, in your sacral region, there's your womb. Men should be just as particular as women. Just as particular.
I totally agree. But we don't have no, what's yoni, linger? We don't have a steam. I mean, I don't know.
No. I do, at my spa, I do lingam steams.
Okay. Let me sit up now. Not because you did lingam steams, but I really want to just go with talk a lot more about that. Because as I said, when I thought of yoni steams, I was just thinking vagina. That's just what it was for. But yesterday I was looking up, I was like, oh no, it's a whole organ, it's involved, it's everything. I was like, I never actually thought of it that way. So for those who don't know, and those of us who need a little bit more education, like myself, tell us, what is yoni steam and what are the benefits?
Okay, so yoni is a Sanskrit word that is a representation for the whole reproductive system, and that goes with the vaginal canal, the uterus, the fallopian tubes, ovaries. So that's everything. A yoni steam, basically, the basic level, is where you take a pot of herbs, you warm them up to a certain temperature. It's almost like making tea, to the point that you want all the herbal essences of the herbs to actually be in the pot, and it's covered. When the woman comes, or the man, if I'm doing a lingam steam, I uncover them and I stir the herbs. I show them how to sit. But what happens once you sit over those herbs, the pores in the vaginal region is going to open up. And once those pores open up, your body is just going to envelop all of those herbs, the medicinal essences of the herbs. It can be very relaxing. It's very healing. I have my clients to do certain things when they're on the yoni pot. It might be some journaling. It might be some writing. It just all depends on what comes to me during their session as to what I have them doing during that session. But what can happen over time when a woman does yoni steams? It can be beneficial to reducing cramps, helping to balance out her pH, helping to balance out her hormones. For women that have heavy periods, helping those periods to get lighter, reducing the number of days that a woman is having on her cycle. For a woman that has fibroids, eventually helping the release of those fibroids. So there's endometriosis, helping to relieve the pain associated with that. PCOS, eventually helping to break down those cysts that are on the ovaries. Women that are going through menopause, helping to balance out their hormones, pH level. And then on top of that, herbs that help with vaginal dryness and helping with the sexual libido. For women that have had children, I do a special steam that helps to strengthen the uterus after childbirth. It's very relaxing as well. For the men, the lingam steam is more about the herbs are for prostate health. I like to call myself a yoni steam mixologist, and that's because that's because you come to me, you got certain issues going on. I'm going to research those herbs. I'm going to combine them for you. And I'm going to pray over those herbs, send energy to those herbs, in hopes of your healing physically. That's your physical healing. That's what I'm praying for at that time. Also spiritual healing as well, just depending. But outside of just doing the yoni steam, some things have to be coupled with a womb massage or detox womb wrap. The womb massage is to bring oxygen rich blood to the abdominal area. And for women that have fibroids or endometriosis, that helps those organs in that area to get more iron-rich blood. It helps to relieve constipation as well. And in some senses, it can help to readjust the organs in that area, kind of put them back in better alignment, increase the chi flow within the area. And the detox womb wrap helps to pull out toxins, but also help to remineralize the womb area all at the same time. So combining those things with the yoni steam is an even more effective healing technique. And I always like to tell women, all women can do it. Even if they've had their tubes tied, if they've had a hysterectomy, if they went through menopause, these services are for all women because all women can benefit from it. All of them.
So the womb massage, is it internal or external?
It's external. I'm glad you asked that, because sometimes women come to me and they think it's like clitoral stimulation. I'm like, no, but we ain't doing all of that.
No, we're not open for that.
No, we're not doing all of that. But this is something I want to say about womb massage. The first time that I had a womb massage, it was an experience that made me feel like I was in another zone for hours. And I guess the reason being, especially if the right person is doing it with the right intention and sending some great energy to you. And then when you get on that yoni pot, it gives you a euphoric feeling. But at first, you got to relax. Most women are not even touching themselves in their abdominal area, much less letting somebody else touch them. So once they start to relax and they can get into letting it happen and letting it be, it's a very euphoric feeling. You feel almost high. that's how, well, that's how you feel. You feel like you're in another world.
But it makes sense. It makes sense. That's what happened when we're making love.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're bringing consciousness, awareness, and breathing through it. It can take us to the next
Yes.
level.
Yes.
And I think that those kind of information we don't have. I don't know. I don't want to say people suppressing power, maybe, but if we have more information about our own bodies, the way we relate with ourselves will be different. Because the physical is an extension of the spiritual. And they go together. I want to go to the lingam theme because I've never heard of it before. This is the first time. I didn't even think there was one. I was actually thought I was joking.
No, there's one.
You must be one of a few. Now, actually, before I go to that, speak to the idea where, because as a society, when we think of yoni steam, and you're thinking, ooh, I'm going to steam my vagina. I mean, it's fun that we can't even say that word and people go, oh my God. I mean, I don't know why they even say vagina steam to make it even, but I guess in the Western world.
They say bee steam.
Yeah, still running away from the truth. I mean, you can say penis, you can say vagina, coming over VJJ, all of that.
JJ,
but anyway, it's like, call it what it is. I think that's part of, for me, I really believe that's one way for us to reclaim it, our own power, by calling it what it is instead of all this nickname, like we're too afraid to say it. But it's sometimes, there might be, maybe there's some misconceptions about what it means. Like you said, the internal massage is not internal massage, and people might be thinking it's a clitoral stimulation. What are some of the myths around yoni steaming?
Okay. One of the biggest things that I come into contact with is women think that it is going to tighten their vagina. The vagina is a muscle. A yoni steam is a steam. There's herbs in there that helps with toning the uterine muscles and different things like that. But to actually tighten the vagina, you actually need to do Kegels, or you can use a yoni egg. Now, yoni eggs do assist with tightening those muscles. That's one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear. So I have to re-educate and, explain, hey, that's a muscle. When you go to the gym, how long does it take for you to get a nice bicep? You don't get that overnight. Another one is with the fibroids. A lot of women think that if they just come in and just do the yoni steam for the fibroids, that's going to help them to release the fibroids. That is not the case. There's more that goes along with it as far as doing the womb massages. And then there's things that I have them doing at home. There's, so homework and being consistent. That's the other thing too. Some women think they can come get a yoni steam one time and their periods are going to get better. No, you have to, over a course of time, come in and get the steams. I always recommend
generally.
Okay. I always recommend, if a woman can only get here once a month, to do it after her cycle. That's going to help. But if you're really trying to heal from a certain physical situation, you need to steam every week that you're not on your cycle. Every week, and then I assist women that have fertility issues. On the week that they're ovulating, I have them to actually come in 2 to 3 times in that week, because their cervix is very supple at that time, and we are trying to make sure that sperm can make it cross. So
I'm almost there. I'm on my way.
Yeah. So, so it just all depends on, for situation. That's another thing. When someone is looking for a yoni steam practitioner, ask them about their education. Sit down and talk to them to see what they know. Can they mix different herbs? How long have they been doing yoni steams? Because there's a lot of people out here doing yoni steams now, but do they? I love what I do. So I spend a lot of time researching herbs, reading different books about different things, because I want to bring my best. So I spend a lot of time researching.
So let's just kind of continue on that train of thought. So what are some of the things that you would strongly recommend women to look for when they're looking for a practitioner who does yoni steaming?
Okay. Number one, ask where they got their certification from. And I went to Love My Womb Academy, so I'm going to always put that one first. I'm going to put Ankh Academy of Holistic Healing second. That's my own holistic academy that I have to teach women to do yoni steaming and other things. But always seeing where their training came from, and then sitting down and actually asking questions to see if they talk more about healing, or if they're just talking more about, hey, let me get you on the pot, and they don't know too much more than that. The other thing I would look at too is their setup. You know, I have everything kind of readily accessible as far as my herbs and different things like that. If I start talking to a woman and there's something that comes up, I'll mix a blend right then and there for her, because, you know, no, I want to do something a little bit more special for you. But seeing if they just have, you know, herbs on hand to customize something for you. I will say those are the biggest things. Where did you receive your training at? Did you receive any training at all?
Or did you just research on Google? Because this herbs are readily available.
Well, you know
what?
Okay, when I first started doing yoni steams, that's what I basically did. But because of who I am, I didn't just I wanted to know what each one of those herbs did. How did they interact with each other? You know, so I took it a step further. But some people will just Google, hey, these are the herbs you put in there, and put them in there, and that's it. You know. But I took it a step further, knowing how to interact with each other, doing a healing prayer over them, crystal infusing them, putting them under the full moon, the new moon. You know, I do all kind of stuff to them herbs.
And you could, like you were saying earlier, you if you have a client, you may have I don't know if you do, but have a standard herbs that you use. But depending on what the person is dealing with, you may add different herbs to it, right?
Yes, I have a proprietary blend where I don't want to call it basic because it's not just basic, but already pre-made. I have one that's called Fibroids No More. I have one that called Cis Be Gone for women with PCOS. I have one Love My Womb that is for women with endometriosis. The Lingam steam is called The King for women that are having issues with their sexual libido. It's called Get Your Groove On.
So can I have a little bit of hey?
You know, to get the young girls in, I have one that's called Sweet Punani, and it has organic flowers in there, but it brings them in for me to give them education. I like to talk to young women about number one, the power of their womb, and birth control, because I feel like all women can holistically and naturally manage their cycles and be able to know when you're ovulating. So if you're not trying to get pregnant, this is when you don't have sex or you use protection. So that's one of the things that I use. But I also do I have a service that's called Detox Your Ex. That's a yoni steam with a nice blend of herbs in it for releasing. Detox your ex. But during that session, it's really about cutting cords and releasing the energy of that ex. So it's not just the yoni steam, it's really a service. Then I have one that's called Attract Your Divine Mate. And again, it's about trying to bring that energy to you. I have them to do a lot of different things. A lot of women don't even know what they want in a man. So this is where we sit down, and as you're sitting over those herbs, we talk to the wombs. We talk to your womb to say, hey, you know, who is my divine mate? And while they're on that pot, I have them to write down all the different things that's going to come to them while they're sitting there in meditation. So, yeah, I do. I'm a yoni steam mixologist. But all these different services or all these different sessions came to me while on my cycle, while I was in that, when I was real open to the universe. Every last one of them, the herbal blends, what to do during these I like to call them healing sessions, what to do, all of that came during my time of my moon cycle, my celebration. That's when all those things came to me. So I really use my womb energy. I really do.
Yeah, I have 1,001 questions firing off in my head, and I want to get to the lingam steaming, but we're not there yet. And more importantly, because that's something I've never heard before, and I want to hear more about it. But I don't know if it's the same thing, but the thing, I guess, if I could just poke one of the, well, maybe not so much of a question, is what I'm getting from what you're saying is it's not like you go to, I don't know, CVS and just pop a painkiller and the next morning you don't have a headache. It seems to me that what you're doing is a ceremony, is a ritual where there's a process. So people can't just come in. It's like, what's that? It's what's sticking in my head. Get your groove back or get your groove on. They can't come in. Well, they can, but it's not that they come in one time and it's done. It sounds like you take them through a process. They come regularly. You're doing the mindset work as well as you work on the physical and the spiritual, correct?
That is correct. If someone wants to come in just to get a yoni steam, I will give them just a yoni steam. But if I'm working with someone and I see that they are more into healing, I work with them because I can only do as much as the person is ready to do. Everybody's not ready to heal. Some people like living in their detox type of a situation. They like living in it. So it depends on the client how much we do. It depends totally on them. Sometimes they can come in and I'd be like, girl, I'd be like, let me do a goddess yoni steam with you. And I suggest that because of something that I see in them, something in their eyes, or it's just that there's some energy there. And I know this this healing session is going to make them feel better, start to lift off some of that energy. During that session, I'm going to be a vessel to the Most High, and whatever messages need to come through for her, those messages are going to come through. And sometimes it's just by me looking at them, I say, well, let me do this for you. And I don't always charge because sometimes, it's just like, no, you just need to help her, so it just all depends. I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Well, usually, as you said, you're being used, right?
Yeah.
And when you're being used, you say some things. I'm like, that's not. And the spirit, like, I got you. Remember, you align with your wealth. I got you. Mother's like, did I just say that out loud?
Yeah, that's what I said. I just said.
People come, can I have the service where you don't charge for? If you ask, that means you need to pay.
That means you need to pay.
So let's talk about this as it relates to Black women. This is Women History Month, and there's a lot of things, and what it means as a Black woman living in the Western world, a Black woman living in America. People go through all sorts of oppression, and as a society, America itself has a volume, and the volume is always loud, and the music is often, the DJ is around race, racism, white supremacy, all of that. And their mothers who every day are sending their kids to school, or husbands or boyfriends or partners that's going, and they're concerned, sisters who are concerned. You were talking about how people hold a lot in their womb. How the society that we're living in now, how is it affecting Black women, and how does your service help them to release the weight of the world that they're carrying, literally?
Again, this goes back to someone being ready to heal. Coming to Ankh Feminine Wellness Spa is just healing in itself. And what I mean by that is, on a day-to-day basis, I pump different essential oils into the air. Not just to clean the air, not just to be relaxing and to make you feel good, but it's actually just part of the healing. I also do small group gatherings on a regular basis. Coming up soon, I'm going to start doing healing circles as well. But going back to your question, a person has to be open to healing. One of the things I learned maybe about 2 years ago, everybody is not my client. I can want them to heal. I can see that they need, certain things, but everybody is not my client. So there's what they call an alignment client, someone who's assigned to me. So those people show up, and then those people who I might need to direct to someone else to assist them with their healing. But as far as how women are handling like everything with COVID, being inside, a lot of my clients that come to me to say, hey, I've gained 15 or 20 pounds during this COVID epidemic. They're not speaking, they're not talking. I would say and they don't have someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Women come to me sometimes just to talk. But if if you schedule a yoni steam with me, if you need me to, I'll sit there with you for 45 minutes and talk to you the whole time. Sometimes that's all a person needs or a woman needs when she walks through the door, just to unload some of what she has gathered throughout her day. Maybe she hasn't been able to speak about something that's bothering, she's going through with her husband. It's not something she necessarily needs to tell him, because she needs to be supportive of him so that he can go out into the world and do what it is that he needs to do. But she's holding on to energy as well from taking care of the kids, the job, and him. So a lot of times I'm that person that they come to unload everything on. And that was something that I knew it was happening, but it would start to affect me after a while. So I had to learn to cleanse my energy as well, and to know when not to ask somebody how they doing today, because I know they're going to tell me.
Woo! I have erased text. How are you? No, I don't have time to read. When I ask how are you doing, I really mean how are you doing?
So,
and sometimes I just don't. So I'm like, no, delete that. Hey, I hope you're well.
Yeah, I won't even ask, because I can see it and I know they want to give it to me. But I know that I'm not in a position to where I can accept the energy, because there's always an energy exchange, and you're going to feel better when you walk away from talking with me, but I'm going to be carrying that. And now I got to get rid of that energy. But one of the biggest things I would say, women don't always have someone to talk to. It amazes me sometimes. I say, hey, you can come in with up to 4 of your friends and you can do a yoni steam, and y'all, it's really good sisterhood and everything. They won't have 2 or 3 friends that they can even bring with them. So that means that they're probably not even talking to someone, a sister friend, a sister, to where they can just verbally express themselves. So I'm quite sure their throat chakras are closed as well. So a lot of times that's where I come in at, though, with them being able to talk to me.
There's so many things I want to talk about. I'm looking at time. There's a comment in the chat room, which I'm going to read in a minute. Maybe we can take a minute or two to talk about the lingam steam. And do men actually come in for that?
Okay, let's talk about the lingam steam. I have it's called a couple steam. It's called the king and queen. And usually how men get here to do the lingam steam, they wife bring them, or their significant other. Do they walk in off the street? No, not at all. And afterwards, they always, the last gentleman that had one with his wife, I said, you going to tell your friends so they can come? He said, I'm not telling anybody.
I know that.
I'm not telling anybody.
Hell no.
He said, I'm not telling anybody. But okay. But it's just like the yoni steam. I have some stools that I have built, but whenever a man, I try to pick one that has a large opening on it. And how it differs from a yoni steam is that the herbs are different. That's number one. They're more for prostate health. I researched all these different herbs about the prostate, and those are the herbs that I use. Their pots are not as hot as women. They're more on the warm side. And that's mainly because if the water is too warm, it can actually kill the little sperm cells. So if they're
little sperm cells, them soldiers are strong.
Well, I don't want to. So I don't want to kill the soldiers. So so it's not as warm. The herbs are different, but other than that, the process is the same. And I do try to choose one of my stools with a larger opening, mainly because it's not just to get the lingam in there, but we do want to get the anal tissue in there as well. So that might be the reason why, he didn't want to tell nobody about it later.
And it's not the kind of thing that, I think both male and female, but I think it's easier on females to talk a little bit more with their friends or sister friends about what's going on. But us brothers were like, no, go somewhere with that, man. Don't talk to me about that. Go over there with that, G stuff. Anyway. There's more I want to ask you, and if any listeners have any questions, I just invite you to reach out to LaShun through a social media, because there's a comment here that I think, when I read it, I was like, ooh.
I
don't know
don't
if
have
you've
my
heard.
glasses on, so I can't
That's
see
fine.
the
I'll read it out
comments.
loud.
Okay.
We have a listener, Melinda. She said, "What's very hard to dealing with is a doctor gave her a full hysterectomy without her permission." Let's just take a deep breath on that. Woo! Yeah, LaShun, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. I'm feeling you too. I'm like, woo! I mean, does that actually happen? I mean,
I've
she's
heard
saying it
of it.
happened for her.
I've heard of it happening more than one time. And where I've heard it happen at women who were going in for a myomectomy, that's when they cut out fibroids, but they wake up and their womb is gone.
Oh my
Um,
God.
I don't even like when women come in talking about getting a hysterectomy. And because when you get a hysterectomy, it's going to solve the problem of, say, excessive bleeding, getting rid of the fibroids, the heavy bleeding, but something always happens afterwards. Your womb is your center. It's your connection to this universe. Even though they physically remove it, spiritually the energy of your womb is still there, but at the same time, that connection that was there for other synthesis in your body, hormones and different things like that, it throws everything out of balance. It throws that woman out of balance. She can say, now I don't have the heavy bleeding in the fibroids, but I can almost 100% guarantee you there is something else she starts to deal with. I have absolutely heard of that happening to women, and every time that I've heard it happening, it was in the case of going in for a myomectomy and ending up waking up and your womb is gone. You really have to fight for it. One of my clients recently, they wanted to remove her uterus, but she fought them tooth and nail. No, I'm not going to do that. And she kept keeping her womb. Everything is really good with her. We did womb massages, yoni steams, and she changed her diet. There was a lot of different things that she did to heal the physical side of her, the physical side of it. But she is still walking around with her womb. But I have heard of that, and I don't. Having a hysterectomy does not solve things. It
It's
doesn't
so
solve.
many. It says a lot to this, and I encourage listeners and to just do their own research. And there's so many things that I'm thinking because I don't know how the process works, but it seems like a woman going in for some kind of surgery needs to be able to have a agreement, as a contract, something signed. Because I'm kind of leaning to the side where, from the medical perspective, they can say once they got in there, they realize, oh, this is
That's
much more
exactly
than what we thought. So they
that's
had to
exactly what they
do
did.
something that we didn't talk about before. And
Hmm.
it could be, well, why didn't you do it while it was in there? Why now have to come back? And it's this thing called life, man. Awareness is important, that we educate ourselves and get the information we need, and not just thinking doctors have they have the power. Now, I want to talk about this power we've talked about, and I'm recognizing, I didn't want to jump too far into talking about the power that comes from the womb, because, by doing the healing itself opens up the power. So let's talk about that, because we're talking about the sacred womb, the seat of your power. What kind of power does the womb have, and how does it change lives? How does it influence some of your clients when they come to do the work with you? What kind of shift do they experience in their world?
Um, what I see and what I've experienced. So I'm just talk about the women outside of me when they really come in and they do the work that we are setting out to do. Before, when I noticed them coming in, I could see on their face the stress, the energy that they're carrying. But as we start to do the healing work, their faces brighten up. They're now more smiles. They start to release weight even easier. Like you said earlier at the top of the show, weight management. I actually like to call it weight release, because we are not trying to find it again.
Right.
So yeah, so they start to release weight even easier, hormonal balance. Then once you get to a point, and I kind of want to say I'm at that point now, using my womb for to to see, to hear,
Mm,
I ask questions of my, well, let me say this. Before I got deep into like womb manifestation, I had to do a lot of cleansing and clearing from past sexual partners, past just past energies that I've dealt with, but also how I treated my womb. So there was an apology. I had to, I laid my hands on my womb space as I lay there in my bed, and I apologized for the different things that I did. I made a pact with my womb as far as going forward, asking, should I let this person enter into my heavenly gateway? Should I do that? Should I?
Hey, when were you asking this question? Before the brother got there or later? Or when he
Before
was
no,
there?
no, before he
Yeah.
gets there.
Don't ask that question when the brother's in the house. It's too
No,
late.
before he gets there. No, it's not too late. It's not too late. But before,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
consent matters. Okay,
yes,
my bad. Yep.
yeah. But this
Consent
is
matters.
before.
Even while you're naked. Okay, thank you for
Yes,
checking me on that.
yes. But this is all before. But having an apology and balancing out that relationship between me and my womb. Then once I, felt like I was at a point to say, okay, let me start different meditation, because a lot of it was about releasing and clearing. And now I'm about manifestation. I might be in say, okay, like for instance, come this past weekend, I had a new moon in Pisces manifestation retreat. So how that retreat came out was through my meditation, with my womb, how everything is going to happen, what food we're going to have, how was the yoni steam going to go, how was the yoni steam blend going to be prepared. All those things came from my womb. They didn't come from me. What was going to, I'm a Virgo, so I like to control things. So it's hard for me to kind of step back sometimes. Matter of fact, I'm a quadruple Virgo, as a matter of fact. So sometimes releasing and letting go and letting the energy of the universe take over is hard for me. But that's what I'm learning through working with my womb, because that's universal energy that I'm letting come through to guide and direct me, for me to be able to manifest, assist other people in their healing, assist, participate in my own healing. So it was first cleansing and clearing, an apology, and now asking questions on how to do certain things and believing that I'm going to actually get those answers. And I do. I really do.
I love how you said, and I do. It's like, it's not even, there's no doubt.
No, it's no doubt.
When we recognize that we are really spiritual beings, and more of us is invisible than we are visible. So the womb, which is, when you think about it, that's where life is developing. It's part of birthing a new reality. So for a woman to focus on the womb as a symbol, for me, I feel like that's a connection to the creative energy. To be able to listen, as you said, the things that you do, the rituals, the ceremony, events, you tap in and listen through your womb to receive the inspiration. And I think, the more of us that we can do that, especially with all that we're going through, to tap into our creative power. And of course, we're all creative beings. So everyone is creative, male and female.
Everybody.
We just need to be able to sit down long enough to listen and ask for guidance. And the more we do it, the more we can trust it, right? It becomes this natural thing that we do. You certainly have a passion for what you do. I feel it. I see it. I want to let listeners know your website as well. Your website address is ankfemininewellness.com. That's ANKH femininewellness.com. Check it out. You're in Atlanta, Riverdale. I used to live near Riverdale, so I know that area very well. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to LaShun. As we when we don't wrap up our show, we release it. There's no need to wrap it up, because I feel wrapping it up is keeping it close. So we release it. That's right. What is kind of taking a little shift here, or a turn? What is some of the advice you would give to parents, mothers, aunties, cousins about sexual education with their young ones? because the fact that we didn't get it, even as a man, I've never thought, I didn't know there was a lingam steam, and I'm thinking about it now. I don't know if I'm going to tell. I mean, there's one friend a guy friend that I might tell, but it's not something I'm going to be blasted. And I think part of our feelings about how we feel about our private parts, what's going on sexually, is because we didn't have the conversation when we were younger. So, and I think it's important to encourage young people to be more empowered and tap into their agency. So what kind of thing would you recommend for parents, aunties, uncles, well, maybe aunties, and whoever, who are caregivers who are taking care of young people, particularly the young ladies in this case?
I guess the biggest thing would be to be open, is to start being open. I know it's a hard conversation to have, or if you can't do it, like I do sister circles, I do goddess events. Younger women are always welcome to come. As long as a young lady has her cycle, she can steam. And when she's here steaming, I see young ladies for weight loss as well. I always take it as an opportunity. I speak with the mom first, but hey, can I give this information? If she starts talking to me about different things, can I do that? But I say just have the conversation a little bit at the time. One of the things though that I really push the women that come to me that have younger daughters is to talk to them about their womb, to talk to them about their cycle, ovulation. Yeah, I had a child at 17 years old and didn't know anything about ovulation, and that was because I just hadn't been taught. But, my mother probably hadn't been taught either. So you can't teach someone something that you don't have or know. So if you don't know, you can always seek out help. But that's one of the things that I push, talk to your daughter about her womb. As they learn about their womb, you teach your daughter. If you talk to my daughters, they can tell you, they'll talk to you about the power of their womb. But it's because it's something I learned later on in life though. My oldest daughter is, I think she'll either be 30 or 30. She'll be 31 this year, I think, but I invite them to come in to my sessions that I have, because I might not be talking to them directly, but they still be getting the information. But I say just start as early as possible and being open and honest. My sister, she's very honest with her son, because he's dealing with young ladies. When I see him, I might talk to him about some woman stuff or whatever. So just being open and honest, on their level, and at the same time being serious too, serious.
Exactly. Yeah, because sometimes we could crack jokes when it gets uncomfortable and we miss the essence of being taught. And as I'm listening to him, like, not just putting into the ethers. Maybe you can do classes for young girls. Because sometimes some mothers, even though they engage with you, they still don't feel confident enough to have the conversation. And I think it's important, like you said, if you don't know, you can't teach. You can only teach what you know. And if you've been miseducated, chances are you may miseducate your own children. And so, if
more than likely you are. More than likely you are,
Exactly. So
I'm just remembering some things.
Well, to be quite honest, I'll just say it out loud, and I was going to share this with Leslie. I'm actually thinking it'd be really cool to have a show where we have a couple of practitioners to have this conversation, really educating parents and adults about having conversation around sex, sexual orientation, and how to take care of your own reproductive organs, and also having something like that for young boys as well, because I think it is very important to do something like that. So, but if you decide maybe one day you're sitting down meditating and your womb tells you start that class right now, which class for young people, just let us know.
Actually, what you just said is just really confirmation, because it's something I've already thought about, and I actually see it. That's the other thing too. Once I started tapping more into my womb energy, I see more, and if I can see it, I can do that, or it is true, it is so that. It's just I just have to walk into it, So,
when you start the class, let us know.
I will. Now, it'll come. It'll come. It'll come.
Thank you, LaShun.
Thank you
Anything
for
you want to share with our listeners? Maybe event you're doing, whatever, whatever you want to share with our listeners.
For anyone that's listening, if they go to the website, just make sure that you sign up for the emails. That way you can always be in touch with the events that's going to be happening. Because I love doing events. I mean, I love it. Like I said, it's coming soon. I'm going to be starting the healing circles. I have a group that I'm going to be facilitating called Woman of Ankh, and it's for women to tap more into their divine energy. I'll be doing that, and then on a regular basis, I do full moon and new moon rituals. I do that on a regular basis, at least 1 to 2 a month. We have a full moon and a new moon every month. So
yeah, exactly. So at least tries are going to be getting something. I know I was releasing this conversation, but I want to ask you if you can answer this in shortest way possible.
Okay.
Why is ritual necessary and important? Especially as it relates to a spiritual well-being.
No one has never asked me that. I think I'm going to say, from me, speaking from myself, as far as the rituals that I do for myself on a day-to-day basis, it helps to keep me balanced. It helps to keep me focused and my energy, because I do spiritual baths on a regular basis. I do my own yoni steams on a regular basis, because there's different things when I do each one of these. So for me, balance, it keeps me on track, keeps me focused. It keeps those messages coming, because I see ritual as a way to always connect with the divine, to connect with universal energies. Yes. So I guess that's why I would say ritual is important, is because that connection to the universe, to be able to, because when I'm not doing it, I remember one time I tried to do something somebody else wanted me to do. I have my own spiritual practice that I do. And when I tried to do what someone else wanted me to do, it seemed like my life got out of balance. So I had to go back to what I knew, what came to me, what came to me naturally.
Yes.
So
yes. I feel you. You got to do spiritual rituals. We have a daily ritual. Some people, their ritual is getting coffee every day. And they talk about, I don't get my coffee, I'm just not the same person.
You're not the same person,
You got to do your spiritual rituals so you can really tap into your own power.
Yeah. So
Sean, thank you so much for your passion.
Thank you for having me here, Ade. I really appreciate it. I really do. I used to shy away from doing things like this.
And now you're like, okay, there's a next level. I'm ready for this. Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's next level now. It's time for me to come from behind the walls and, be out there. I'm actually doing another show on Saturday night, I want to say. Cool. So I'll be more than, willing to come back again for something.
Most definitely. Atlanta is like home. So anybody from Atlanta, I'm like, yep, you get on a special list.
Okay.
Thank you, my dear sister.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, same here. Woo, boy. If you can imagine my head, I had questions lining up. Questions were lining up like, I'm next, I got next. But, we'll definitely bring LaShun back. Thank you, listeners. I trust that, you got something that you can use. You can find her on Instagram at Ankh Feminine. All this time I've been saying feminine, right? But during the show, I want to say feminine. I don't know. What's that feminine? Where did that even come from? I guess I heard people say it too. But for whatever reason, that's what I would say. But it's Ankh Feminine, as ANKH, feminine. Feminine. I didn't say that for some reason. FEMININE. Don't get it twisted. Tune in to your womb. You can also go to the same for website. Ankh Feminine Wellness.com is the website. And you can go to her YouTube channel, LaShun's YouTube channel. That's LaShun Teboh, which is LaShunTeboh. She does well on camera. She's a great teacher. You can watch her videos and she breaks things down, and just want to check her out. And Kwali said, I am interested in a candle dressing session. Yeah, she probably have a Zoom event, so check it out. Thank you, New Jays. Thank you, Kwali. Thank you, silent listeners. Melinda I'm holding you in consciousness. You said it's very hard dealing with it, and it sounds like it already happened. So I suggest invite you to maybe do some forgiveness work around that. And for all that came with that, for all that you're dealing with, it may not be time to do the forgiveness work. And it might be time to really release the energy, the just negative energy that you feel around it, maybe the anger, the rage, and trust that, you know, and I don't say this lightly, that you're so much more than your physical body, that you're still a whole being. Nothing can change that. You're still worthy. You're still a woman. So do the work and, you know, trust the process. Woo! There's a lot to share. If you want to work with me, check out my website, lifecoachade.com, lifecoachade.com. Deepening your aha moments and just really, you know, you're ready to shift your mindset about how you see in the world. Coaching, spiritual healing work. And also if you want to start a podcast and you've been thinking about it or looking for someone, that's what I do. I produce other people's podcasts. I edit, I train. So there's a lot of things, all the experiences that I've used, that I've had in the past, it's using me because I wasn't even trying to. Some of it, people would just come to me. And I must tell you about some of the things that I'm doing as well before we release this show, because it's very important. This Saturday, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm not going to go through all the announcements, but I'm going to tell you the show, the session that I'm doing, March 20th. It's 1 p.m. Eastern. It's called Spring into Joy. It's really using the cycles of nature to support us and tap into inner joy, the joy that literally no one can take away from you. To find out more, go to bit.ly/Ade Spring, bit.ly/Ade, ADE Spring. That will give you more information. Click interested if you are. Share with your friends and family. Wherever you are in the world, you can join us 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's 5 p.m. UK time. Is that correct? No, it's not. Yes, it is. 4 hours difference right now. So check it out. Join me. It is my final leading session. And then after that, become a certified interplay leader. And also check out women's, there you go. So it's woman, WOMANS Journey Retreat.com. And for Kathy Stringer's retreat is coming up April 17th to April 18th. It's a weekend event. And I have a code for you if you decide to sign up. It is WJ 2021 -LCA, dash or hyphen, whatever works for you. WJ 2021 -LCA, and you get a 15% discount. And if you sign up today's a early bird. So check it out. Check out the website. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of this conversation. I invite you to take this consciousness and multiply it. And take care of your mind. Take care of your heart. Take care of your spirit. Take care of your life. Don't get distracted by some BS that's going on in the world, because some people are just clueless. They're going to deny your experience, even though they know nothing about your life. That's all I got to say about that. Peace and blessings. Yeah.